everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm teacher Aina and today we shall continue on Unit 5 Food and Health. For your information, this is going to be the 5th lesson which will be on page 57 of your student's book. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to talk about likes and dislikes and get advice. The language focus for our lesson today will be first, we shall talk about verb plus ing and followed by how to write imperative sentences in affirmative and negative way. Imperative here means giving instructions. As usual, before we proceed to our lesson today, let me communicate with you first the framework of the lesson. First, we shall read examples and identify the rules of verb plus ing, and this is followed by a simple practice on using verb plus ing to talk about likes and dislikes. And finally, we shall get to know what imperative is and practice writing imperative in affirmative and negative sentences. So, without further ado, let us move on to the first activity of our lesson today, which is to read and identify rules of verb plus ing. Now, let's get to know the rules of verb plus ing. Take a look at this picture as well as the sentence or question here. Do you prefer sitting on the sofa or going out? Can you see which part of this sentence has the rules of verb plus ing? Look slightly closer to the question. Do you prefer? Now, prefer is a verb. Sitting is a verb plus ing. So, this obviously has applied verb plus ing. Let's take a look at the second one. I like playing video games, but I also like going out. Now, in this sentence, there are two verb plus ing. You can see in here. First is like playing. Like is the verb and playing is the verb plus ing. And another one is like again is the verb and going is the verb plus ing. Next, I like running and swimming. Which part has the rules of verb plus ing? Obviously, is like is the verb, running is the verb plus ing. So, just remember that when you want to use verb plus ing, verb plus ing comes after verbs such as like, prefer, hate, and don't mind. In other words, it means that when there are two verbs getting together, the first one must be in the original form and the second one must be in verb plus ing. Next, spelling for run, sit, and swim are running, running, sitting, sitting, and swimming, swimming. Take note that there are repeated consonants for running, sitting, and also swimming. And the rest of the verbs that you know, it could be just add ing at the back of the verb. Moving on, let's go to the second activity of our lesson today, which is to let's practice verb plus ing. And we shall use this rule to talk about likes and dislikes. If we look at the first picture here, we can obviously see that it is all about housework. So my question here, do you like helping at home? Based on my question, can you see the rules of verb plus ing? Definitely yes. Like is the verb, helping is the verb plus ing. So, how should I respond based on the picture? Obviously, the answer is yes, I like helping at home. So, this is how you respond when you want to use the verb plus ing. When you say I like, you straight away put the verb plus ing, unless you want to use the infinitive tool, I like to help. So there is no ing, but today in this lesson we are not going to talk about infinitive tool. We are just talking about verb plus ing. Next, do you prefer meeting friends or chatting on the internet? So, this question is asking you to choose one from the two options. So, when you want to respond, you need to respond with an answer here. But don't forget, our focus is on the verb plus ing. I prefer meeting friends. So, that's my answer. I prefer meeting friends. So, prefer is the verb, meeting is the verb plus ing. Next, do you like sleeping early? Definitely, his answer, yes, I like sleeping early. This is how you express likes and dislike using verb plus ing. Now, let's take a look at the fourth picture. Do you mind walking home from school? If you look at the man in the photo, he is already walking home from school. So, obviously, he doesn't mind, right? So, say you are the man. How are you going to respond? I don't mind walking home. Don't mind here is the verb, but it's a negative verb. That's why we have don't. But we just focus on the verb mind. So it is still verb plus ing. The verb plus ing here is walking. Now, let's move on to the final activity of our lesson today, which is to get to know and practice imperative sentences. But at the first place, you will need to know first what is imperative. If the sentence itself sounds like you are giving instruction, then it is imperative. However, bear in mind that imperative is divided into two types. First is affirmative and second is negative. As I mentioned in the previous lesson, affirmative means yes and negative means no. So, take a look at this example of affirmative sentences. We can see from the picture here, it is about food. It is about the expiry date of the food since it's written best before 9 January. So, this is an example of sentence that we can make. Eat this bread before 9 January. So obviously, I'm giving you instruction to make sure that you eat this bread before 9 January. Next, one way. So you can see that from the photo, it's showing that one way to the right. So if we want to make it into imperative affirmative sentence, then it should be go right from here. Next, Tourist Information Center. What can you do at Tourist Information Center? You can ask questions in this center if you are a tourist at somewhere else. So, how are you going to make this become an affirmative imperative sentence? Ask questions here. So automatically, you know that the answer here should be ask question here. Now, let's look at the example for negative. Negative means no. So, we know that based on the picture is about no food. So, how are you going to write an imperative sentences in a negative form? Don't eat in the library. Next, This is a very famous sign, so obviously it's about no smoking. So when we want to say it imperatively and it's in negative form, it should be like this way. Don't smoke here. The word don't already signifies the negative form. Next, you see there is a football and there is no sign there. So obviously it means no football. In order to write it in the imperative form, it becomes don't play football here. Don't is the negative form of this imperative sentence. GOODJOB, good job, good job, good job. So that's the end of our lesson today. This is the homework that I have prepared for you. Feel free to complete it, and you can go to the video description below and click on the link to do the exercise straight away. As usual, don't forget to visit my channel and give it a like if possible. Subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell so that you will always get notified whenever I update new videos. With that, I would like to thank you for watching and I shall see you at the next video. Bye!